Although the comic industry's forecast for the last 5 or so years has spelled nothing but doom, gloom, and, more doom, it's also true that the medium has managed to produce some truly jaw-dropping moments in its time. Comics are pop culture's hottest commodity right now, cultivating an industry worth millions both on the screen and off it. This isn't a burgeoning movement either. Comics have been placed left, right, and centre since the beginning of the Second World War, and have dominated the cultural landscape in pretty much every decade since. It's a modern mythology in every sense of the word, and because of that, some of the industry's stats possess some majorly mind-blowing properties, even if they have managed to fly under the radar in some respects. That doesn't just go for financial clout either. There are plenty of facts, figures, and statistics, both fictional and otherwise, that have typified the ambition and scale of the industry since its formative moments. With that in mind, I'm Ewan from What Culture, and here are 10 little-known comic stats that'll blow your goddamn mind. Number 10. The world's largest comic collection totals over 120,000. Nope, the largest comics collection isn't at some private collector's home, but rather the Library of Congress itself, located at the heart of Washington, D.C. The library, which boasts the largest collection of every American newspaper, government document, and, well, just about everything really, has an archive that holds over 120,000 individual comic book issues, along with over 6,000 individual titles too. The only chance you'll get to read any of them depends on if you're a scholar or not, sadly, but given how comic studies is still a burgeoning discipline, it's as good a time as any to realign your major, especially if you're after a read of Detective Comics number 27. Either that, or you could just pull a Ben Gates and break into the place. There are worse ideas for a National Treasure sequel, I suppose. Number 9. Over 5,000 comics were published during World War II alone. Although the likes of Superman and Batman were created before the beginning of the Second World War, the conflict proved to be a defining moment in the genesis of the comic book medium. Superman, Batman, and of course Captain America all participated in the war effort, providing a reliable stream of propaganda for the Allies, and in turn imbuing the medium with a stark anti-fascist current that is yet to subside. As far as legacies go, that's a pretty awesome one to have, and it gets better. Over 5,000 comics were published during the war, with a whole bunch of writers and artists going on to serve both domestically and in the European and Pacific theatres, including Jack Kirby, who was a king all around. They found an audience on the home front as well as the front lines, and while propaganda took a variety of different forms throughout the conflict, none are perhaps as significant as comics themselves. Number 8. There are actually 8 Batcaves. Wow, Bruce Wayne really does love his subterranean lairs, doesn't he? Contrary to popular belief, the billionaire playboy turned vigilante doesn't just have one Batcave, but rather 8. Yes, 8. That's 8 times the fun you get with just one measly cave. Just guessing, I don't have one, god. Obviously, they all serve a purpose. Bats has one located underneath Arkham Asylum, another's in LA, and a whole host of others are scattered across Gotham City. It's just, yeah, like, good for you, Bats. Always good to have a few spare caves lying around in case one goes missing. Number 7. It would cost $682 million to be Batman. Not that you'd want to. Thanks to comics historian Thaddeus Hauser, we know that it would cost an upwards of $682,450,750 to be Batman, taking into account the suits, the gadgets, and your average billionaire playboy lifestyle to go along with it. Although it's unlikely there's a billionaire mad enough to put their funds towards such an endeavour, it's a tangible reality if one were only willing to embrace it. Not that they want to, of course, seeing as how the physical toll would probably kill them before the year end, but still. Number 6, and it would cost $10 billion to be Iron Man. That's right, it'd cost your average Joe around $10 billion to be Iron Man, the kind of change you're liable to find in the cracks between your sofa, obviously. While this assessment from the folks at moneysupermarket.com only accounts for the tech on display in Iron Man 3, it gives us all an idea of just how much it would cost for one to lead the life Tony Stark does in the comics, at least to a degree. Number 5, there are more than 49 Iron Man suits in the comics. What do you get for the man who has everything? Another Iron Man suit, evidently. Tony Stark has an excess of 49 Iron Man suits, including the ones he doesn't use anymore, with the former Avenger being able to boast an arsenal strong enough to invade a small country. Or 5. Famous armors to have featured on the screen include the Hulkbuster, the War Machine, and the Silver Centurion, and with Infinity War sporting an extremis bleeding edge combo, the tally's only going to increase. Number 4. Action Comics is about to hit its 1,000th issue. The first mainstream American comic book to hit 1,000 issues will be Action Comics, the title that saw the introduction of Superman way back when in 1938. The one-shot will come out sometime in March and will feature a story from Superman the movie director Richard Donner, as well as DC debutante Brian Michael Bendis. The only other series close enough to it is its sister comic Detective Comics, which is nearing its 950th issue. On top of the aforementioned story from Donner, Action Comics 1000 will also feature a collection of essays, classic stories, and a continuation of Peter J. Tomasi and Dan Jurgens' run on the character. It's a neat occasion, and if you're after your own little slice of comics history, it's something to keep an eye on in March. Number 3. The Punisher has killed 48,502 people. Ooh boy. Frank, Punisher boy, we need to talk about this tally you've racked up. Although it's an arduous task chronicling the many, many kills the Punisher has made throughout the years, Stephen Wacker, the current VP of Marvel Television and Development, took a stab at the task in the run-up to the release of Greg Rucka's 2011 series featuring the title character. Speaking to CBR, Wacker posited that Frank had killed approximately 48,502 people since his initial introduction in 1974. I mean, it's impressive, kind of, and also worrying. Yeah, we'll go with worrying. Get help, Frank, please. Number 2. Annually, the comic industry can generate close to $1 billion per year. Despite the fact that monthly sales have, for the most part, been on the decline in recent years, the industry as a whole is in the best place it's been for a long time, owing to the fact that now, more than ever, superheroes are pretty popular. The comics market is said to have grossed a massive $870 million in 2014 alone, with further projections for 2015 and 16 raising that estimate closer to 900 mark. While that's not as much as the other behemoths of pop culture, particularly gaming or film, it's a respectable gross and one that should, ideally, ensure a stable presence for the medium going forward. It would be nice if it could do a better job at getting new audiences involved though, especially since everything's so bloody expensive these days. Number 1, since 1961, the average price of a comic has risen by $3.18. If you ask any comic fan what they hate most about their hobby, they'll probably have something to do with the cost of the thing. An average issue will set you back around $3.99, around £3.35 these days. And it's just a tad costly, really, isn't it? Accounting for inflation, the average price of a comic book in 1961 was around 81 cents, which means you've seen an average price increase of $3.81 to individual issues over a period of 50 years. That's pretty daft, irrespective of the fact we should, in theory, be paying over $4 for a comic in 2018. Working class fans are getting priced out of what should, on the surface at least, be a cheap and accessible means of entertainment. It's just not the industry it once was. And that's our list. Sorry for ending it on a bum note and all, but yeah, comics are too expensive. In any case, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and head back down to whatculture.com for more comics goodness every day. I've been Ewan, and if you'll excuse me, I have a declaration to steal.
Whoa, you made it through to the end of the video, and that's pretty rad.
It is rad.
Look at the people who made this video below. Whoa, isn't that sick? What's going on over there?
Oh, over there's some more videos.
Holy cow, there's some more over this side too. That hurt my neck. Wicked. There might be some good stuff on it. Ow.